Okay, so this problem is chapter 8, section 3, and it's a unit conversion problem. And we're being asked to convert from kilometers to miles. And handily enough, they give us on the panel, they give us a couple of conversion factors that we might consider to use. And I'm just going to jot them down on my pad. The first one we could use, it says that 1 mile, and notice the abbreviations that they're using for these now, because that can be a little confusing. That 1 mile is equal to 1.609 kilometers. All right, and then the other one they have there is that 0.621 kilometers, excuse me, 0.621 miles, 0.621 miles equal to, get them in the right order with them, kilometer. All right, so you notice we have either a choice of going from 1 mile to kilometers, or we can go from 1 kilometer to miles. Those are the two conversion factors that they give us for this problem. So why don't we take a minute and see if we can understand how we might approach this. Now, the way that I like to work these problems is something that's called, it's got a fancy name, and it's called dimensional analysis, okay? And the reason I like to use it is because it helps clear up any confusion about whether you're dividing or multiplying by a conversion factor. And here's the way it works. So what we do is we start off with what we have. And we're trying to get to what we want. So that's easy. So we're starting off with kilometers, and we want to get to miles, right? And how many kilometers do we have? Well, we have 1,445.674 kilometers. And we want the answer to be in miles. You with me? So I like to do this. Notice this means multiply. This means multiply. Let me just write down here. This means multiply. And what I need now is a conversion factor. Oh boy. Conversion factor. Okay. And you'll notice that I'm going to write the conversion factor in ratio form. All right. And now, so if I simply tell you that I can write this conversion factor either as 1 mile to 1.609 kilometers, or I could write it as 1.609 kilometers 1 mile, or I could write this one 0.621 miles 1 kilometer, 1 kilometer 0.621 miles. Now, all I've done is just given you some different formats for writing the same information. 1 mile still equals 1.609 kilometers. 1 mile still equals 1.609 kilometers. 1.609 kilometers still equals 1 mile, and so forth. So what I need to do here is I need to use the conversion factor in such a way that the kilometers are going to cancel out, meaning when I multiply through, it's going to be like canceling common factors. So I need to use one of these that has the kilometers in the denominator of it. And you say, well, you use this one, 1.609 kilometers to 1 mile. Okay. And you say, well, okay, I could do that. Or, and I haven't done the answer yet, or I could say 1,445.674 kilometers. I need a conversion factor that cancels out the kilometers, and let's use this one. So now do you see what happened here? It's pretty clear that in this approach, I'm going to divide by 1.609. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. You ready? And so I'm going to have 1,445.674. Oh, what do you mean going to divide? Did you see did I leave out a step for you? Oh, don't let me confuse you. Don't let me confuse you. When I multiply, oh, put this over 1. So when I multiply, I'm going to have kilometers are going to cancel. This times 1 is going to be 1445.674 divided by 0.609. You see where I got the divided there? So it's going to be 1445.674 divided by 1.609. And I get an answer that says 800 and it equals 898 and 492,312. I'm not sure how they get around the answer, but we'll get around to it. Now let's do the same thing down here. Okay, same thing down here. Notice, cancel. Oh, up here, what was I left with? Miles. Kilometers are going to cancel. Be left with the miles unit. Now this one's going to be divided by 1. Whoops, not 1 kilometer. The kilometers cancel. It's just a 1. Okay, you see that? The kilometers cancel. Just a 1. And now, oh, I'm multiplying this version of conversion factor. Oh, okay. So let's see what we get. We're going to take 1445.674 times 0.621. And we get something close. We get, and we don't get the exact same answer, do we? Okay, and so what we get here, we had, this result was 897.763, and it was miles, and so it would be 897.763,554. Now you'll notice there's a slight difference in this, and it is because of the different use of the conversion factors. And what Hope and Math Excel asked me to do is to round this to the nearest whole kilometer. Because if I round this one to the nearest whole kilometer, I'm going to get 898. If I round this one, I'm going to get 98 kilometers. Excuse me, miles. 898 miles. I'm going to get 898 miles here. All right. So let's kind of go back to Math Excel's form it was wanting the answer. Oh, it says round to the nearest thousand. Oh boy, let's see. Okay, now. Not sure which conversion factor they wanted us to use. So let's try the first one, which would be 898.492. Let's see if it'll take that answer. 898.492. 898.492. Good job. It liked that result. Okay. So I'm awfully curious to know what would happen if I used the 0.621 version of the answer. I think I'll check the different. Oh, okay. So here's a different problem. All right. So on this one, it's going to be the same idea. It's a similar problem. We're going to go from kilometers to miles. So let me just jot that down. And I'm going to use 2-1 conversion factor on this one and see if it's set up to take either answer. So I'm going to put 1,256.345 kilometers. And I'm going to use the 0.621 miles in 1 kilometer. Right, 1 mile in 1 kilometer. And when I do the arithmetic on this problem, let's look at the pad real quick and see what we get here. And I'm going to get 1,256.35. We started with 1,256.345 times, and I'm this version of the conversion factor now, times 0.621. And let's see what the answer is. And if they want this rounded to the nearest thousandth, 780.245 is going to be 780.190. Let's see if I get this answer for this problem. So what was that? 780 and 190 thousandths. 780.190. You ready? Not sure what it's. So it's set up to accept either version of the conversion factor that we use. And I know it's confusing, and I'm sorry that it is. I know that's confusing, and I'm sorry that it is. Okay. So that was 8.3.3. I may do another video on this, but let's just go ahead and call this video done. Let's call this video done.